I've spoken at stages, gotten a $50 million trophy within a few years of starting a business, taught entrepreneurship to thousands of people, created 8-figure companies 4 times, and I can honestly say none of this would have happened if I was not an immigrant.
I think America is one of the few countries where an immigrant can just come here, open a bank account, open a business, an LLC, and start making money.
There's these immigrant advantages no one really talks about that have led me to making over $100 million and gives other immigrants like myself an unfair advantage. And let's be clear, I wasn't some genius kid that was on the spelling bee on TV making parents proud. In fact, when taking my first chemistry course in college, I filled out the whole midterm and I got a big fat 0%. So next day, I told my mom, "Mama, I love you, but I can't do the sciences. I hate chemistry. I don't want to become a pharmacist and work out of a shoebox." Of course, she was devastated because becoming a doctor or an engineer is the most immigrant thing to do. In fact, it's so common that according to the National Foundation for American Policy, 83% of the finalists of the 2016 Intel Science Talent Search, the leading US competition for US high school students, were the children of immigrants. This science competition has been called the Junior Nobel Prize and leads to several kids becoming, you guessed it, doctors and engineers, 83%. And if you look at the stats, there's a reason why average immigrants from Pakistan or India or China make more money than the average American. Yes, while there's a lot of focus on education, it goes so much deeper than that. If you're an immigrant watching this, you're probably nodding your head. And if you're not an immigrant, watch closely because this new perspective will lead to a richer life, and not just financially. Believe it or not, my story started with my grandfather, who passed away a decade before I was even born. I never met him, never spoke with him, but just hearing my dada's story, my grandpa, changed my core beliefs and programming. So picture this, I'm 7 years old, highly impressionable, I'm in the family room, and I see this larger than life picture of my grandfather hanging on the wall in the family room. And my cousin says to me, "Your grandpa was a great man. Do you know what he did for the family?" So my grandfather left home in search for a better life at just 16 years old, with no cell phone or internet at that time. He arrived in Karachi with no connections, no money, and he literally started selling seashells by the seashore to earn a living. He learned to sell, learned to survive. He worked hard for many years until he became one of the most successful construction builders in this city. First, started out with building homes, then building apartment buildings. But he never forgot his day one mission. As soon as he made enough money, he ran ads in the local newspapers in the city he was from in the hope that he can find his family again. The family he hadn't seen for a decade, ever since he immigrated. It gives me goosebumps just thinking about that. Have you ever heard the saying, "We stand on the shoulder of our forefathers"? See, if you don't know your ancestral stories, how can you stand higher? You see, the road to success is riddled with failures. You must fail and fail and fail enough times in order to succeed. But when you know there's greatness in your DNA, you dig deeper than the next guy. And that is what many immigrants have. I was like Simba from Lion King. I knew Grandpa was watching. I worked hard because of those stories and because I wanted to live up to his legacy. Many immigrants also have the same depth, that deeper driving force behind them, fueling them every single day. And chances are, immigrant or not, there's someone in your family tree that did something great. If they hadn't, you may not be sitting with a roof over your head watching this today on YouTube. Go ask your mom or dad for an ancestral story. It'll give you that extra gear that you need for your grind. Now, most people look down upon this, but this is also something that gives immigrants an unfair advantage. Not only are you less likely to fall into destructive behavior like alcohol or drugs, but living at home until they get married allows immigrants to develop their career or build a business without having to spend hours cooking, or getting a low-level job to keep a roof over their heads. The same time spent on low dollar value activities could be used to develop much higher level skills that serve you in the long term, like becoming an engineer, becoming a doctor, or becoming an entrepreneur. It's simple math. If you have a low-level job for 5 years, say from 18 to 23, that's 5 years of your life trying to fend for yourself, when with family support, you could have accomplished a lot more. Now, I got the odd jobs myself. I did it because I had to help out the family unit. Valet, cold calling, door-to-door sales, you name it, I did it. But living at home provided me with the mental strength, the anti-fragility I needed, because I knew I had my family support through every up and down. And that goes both ways. So when my brother and I were kids, we used to go and rent a lawn aerating machine from Canadian Tire. We rent it and we would go knocking on doors, and we would walk away with anywhere from $500 to $700 every single day. We saw an opportunity and we jumped on it. But as most immigrant kids know, entrepreneurship was not my parents' first choice for my career. My parents wanted me to go into sciences. So as per my parents' request, I signed up for science courses in university. I'd been a good student my whole life, and I figured even though I had no interest in science, if I studied hard, I could graduate, get a good paying job, and support my family. As you know, I was completely wrong about that. My first chemistry midterm, I showed up. I filled up the whole midterm, every single question, and for the first time in my academic career, I got a big fat 0. So I remember panicking and going to my professor, begging him to let me to retake the exam. I asked him, I'll do anything. And he just looked straight at me and he said, you need to do something else, man. Next day, I withdrew from chemistry. I signed up for business courses. Why? Because I felt it was time for me to be an entrepreneur, just like grandpa, and everything started to click. Much like other students, after I graduated, I found a good paying job. I was working as an investment banker, making 6 figures, but after taxes, it wasn't that much. And remember, I was the eldest in the family, and I had to support my siblings as well. I needed to do more, make more. And the 9 to 5 just wasn't enough, not just monetarily, but in terms of time and energy as well. I didn't have enough energy after working 14 hours a day as an investment banker to give to my family and to support the family unit. And then in 2017, when the whole economy was struggling, I got laid off and I was back, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because that's when I started filling out this spreadsheet of 200 different business ideas. And I just did one of them, which was to start a lead generation marketing company. Businesses needed more sales, especially during the economic downturn. They wanted more customers. So with a lead generation company, I had the superpower to help them out. My first client was a local carpet cleaner, then a local dentist. I saw how lead generation can transform the business. I saw it firsthand. It was what I needed to continue pushing. The reason I kept pushing was, once again, for not just for myself, but the whole family unit. I kept pushing because I had a dream of being able to help out my family. And I finally did it. I helped my parents retire, got my mom a Tesla, traveled around the world, and then my business got stuck and I plateaued. You see, having the ability to create wealth is almost a spiritual practice. You get what you give. Why are 40% of the Fortune 500 companies started by immigrants? How do immigrants start with relatively nothing and build these empires? I'll tell you, by increasing the circle of responsibility. So what does that mean? Let me break it down for you. In order to expand your business, you need to expand your vision. What I mean by this is expand the circle of people you care about. Bring more people in. You often hear about immigrant families sending money back home to their relatives. The way I look at it is, in the center, there's you, then there's your close friends and family, and then there's people who are like you, and then there's people you don't even know. They don't know you, they might be nothing like you, and at this stage, you're just trying to help the human race. Look at Elon Musk. That's where he operates. Immigrants like Elon Musk usually just have a bigger circle of responsibility. That's what makes them more driven, more focused, and more switched on than the next guy. If you're having trouble getting motivated, if you're not taking action, if you're stuck in spite of knowing what you should do, it's because your circle of responsibility probably needs to expand. For example, if you only care about yourself right now, then no judgment, start thinking what your success could do for your friends and family. If right now you care about your close friends and family and you're doing well enough to be able to take care of them, then think about a broader circle. Bring in acquaintances, distant relatives, people in your community, people who share your values. And if you care about those people who are like you or connected to you in some way, then it's time to expand even further to people who aren't like you and who don't even know about you yet. This is where I'm at right now. There are people out there who don't even know about me, but I care about them. This is what I'm doing with my companies that change thousands of lives. I know the pain. I've been through it myself. I've watched my parents struggle to put food on the table. I've been broke, not had any time for myself or my family. Life's not meant to be lived like that. And that's what motivates me, drives me even now, to help people escape that and win back time by acquiring and growing assets of their own. That's why I've started and continue to run businesses with over 150 people within my companies. That's how Immigrant Values has helped me generate more than $100 million in sales. So if you're having trouble taking action or getting to the next step, then the answer I give you is to bring more people into your circle of responsibility. It takes a village to build your success. And in my case, my village continues to grow. Remember to honor your family's history and nurture its current situation. These are some of your strongest assets. And expand your vision, your circle of responsibility. Welcome in people you've never even heard of and watch your motivation expand. If you do these three things, plateaus and obstacles will start to dissipate. Sticking to my values has afforded me the opportunity to help my siblings build successful careers. It's allowed me to help my parents, relieve them from financial stresses that plagued them for decades. And it's given me back my time as well. By building my businesses on the core value of caring for others, I've been able to give my family the time, energy, and support I always dreamed of. I hope this connects with you. It's about the fundamental truth about why some people make it, and frankly, most others don't. So next time you fail an exam or lose your job, don't take that as a conclusion, but just the end of one chapter and lean into those core values and see where your dreams take you. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. This allows us to put more effort and do more research in bringing content that helps you grow your mind, body, and assets. Thank you so much. See you on the next one. Peace out.